Hi and welcome back to my channel. I am Koala and this is my little nook in this end of the universe that we call YouTube. I am a shamanic practitioner, mainly within the Nordic shamanism, but I'm also initiated into Nustakarpai and the Munaki rites. And in this series I talk about my spiritual journey as a trans man. I focus on rituals and intention setting and tools and methods I've used during my journey. So everything I focus on is from a spiritual and a shamanic perspective. With that said, I do share some personal anecdotes, I do share some personal things in this series because that's, you know, the nature of what I'm talking about. But yeah, so in this series I am following a timeline. We have reached the summer of 2023. So in this video I'm gonna focus on that, and then after the summer of 2023 there is a bit of a gap where things needed to just happen, and I needed to let things be, and I needed to let things integrate again. So yeah, but I'm gonna get to that at the end of this video. So in the last video I talked about my intention settings for the spring equinox of that year, and that is 2 years ago now. So after setting my intentions during the spring equinox of 2023, I went into the summer realizing that I had so many things I needed to let go of. So when you set intentions for something, you have to want it, you have to open your mind and heart to everything that you need to do to be able to achieve it. So in my case that meant a lot of healing work all the way through the journey, because when I was way into my adult years when I realized why I felt the way I was feeling, and what it meant to be trans, and what I needed, what I wanted, etc. And that means I have like a whole life before that with things that have affected me, that have taught me the wrong things. So there's a lot of reprogramming, and during this reprogramming period, which is kind of fast paced for me because that's how I work, I am the type of person that I want to heal, I want to move forward, I want to break things apart and put them back together again when it comes to the soul and the mind and you know myself mainly. I do have a desire to also help other people with that, and people around me, people in my life knows that I don't let things go. If there's an issue, I need to address it, because that's what I do. I want to address it head on. I don't push anything under the rug. I don't just leave it hanging if I don't feel like, okay, this is something that we can't handle right now because we don't have the tools, we don't have what we need to then I can put it over here. If there's a lot of things going on and you need to prioritize, I can prioritize. And I practice what I preach, so I dig into myself. So when anything comes up, I sit with it and I find out, what do I need to do with this? What is the next step in this healing process? And during the summer of 2023, I realized that after setting my intentions, there was a lot of things internally that I needed to mainly let go of in order to receive. So during this period of the summer of 2023 and the fall of 2023 and beyond, I have worked a lot on receiving, but being able to receive came a little bit later. First I needed to let go of old thought patterns, old programming, and with old programming I mean things that I had been brought up with, transphobia and other things that I had internalized that I needed to let go of. But also I had been brought up not being able to love myself, not being allowed to love myself as I am. So I had kind of a skewed view of what that looked like, and I didn't know how to put myself first, because when I tried, it looked like what I had been taught by other people that did that, because I was brought up with a set of adults that had a wide range of emotions, and in their own ways they had unhealthy ways of coping with things, and none of it helped me to love myself, and none of them, I think, really loved themselves enough to teach me how to love myself. There's one person, or there are actually, of all the people I grew up with, there's only one person that I truly feel like I have a deep understanding for, because we have worked on our relationship as I have grown into an adult and as I came out, and the person has been very supportive, and so that's the person that I really feel like I understand better now. That person has taken accountability, and I have healed a lot from working on our relationship, and I hope that they have as well. But that's not my responsibility. And that is the first thing that I actually had to let go of. The feeling of other people's well-being, mental and soul, like spiritual and mental well-being, being on my table, like being that I had it in my basket of stuff that I needed to do. That was something I grew up with, that it's on me, because they can't take care of themselves, they are putting it on me. Especially one person put everything on other people all of the time. It was never them, so it had to be me, and I've talked about this previously in this series. So this summer is when it really came to a halt and came to, in Swedish we call it kulmen, when the scale tipped, that I realized, I didn't just realize I needed to let things go. I realized that, oh my, this is just, I could see those values, I could see those, I could see everything from like more of an outside perspective, and I was like, what? Is this what I'm carrying inside of myself? This does not help. So it was like after the integration process the year before, and with setting my intentions, I had cleared a path for myself forward that allowed me to see everything that had been integrated and everything that didn't fit, that had been like pushed out, but I was still holding on to it because it was old beliefs, it was what I had been brought up with, it was what I had been programmed to believe. So all of those things I could finally see, because they were floating outside of me but still inside of my bubble. It was like, these things don't match, they don't fit, they have no place in me, not in my body, not my mind, not my soul, not my heart, and nowhere. No place for this. So I could see them, I could pick them, I was like, this little belief here that tells me what love is supposed to be between family members, that doesn't really match with what I feel in here and what I know. So I need to let that go. So basically I needed to let go of a lot of previous misconceptions, and I think I also went through a bit of grieving, and I still feel sad about knowing that a lot of the people around me that taught me these things still is out there believing these things about themselves and about life, and I just feel a bit sad about that. But previous me, like me 5 years ago, 3 years ago, would have been like, oh, I feel so sad about them, I need to help them realize that they are worthy of more. But now I know that that is not my place, and it's not my responsibility, because I am no longer a willing recipient of those responsibilities and those emotions. I don't hold them for other people anymore. I have done a lot of looking at things, looking at these pieces and being like, no, this does not belong to me, and whatever I do with this, I can't help anyone. I'm the one suffering if I hold on to this because it doesn't belong to me. So I give it back or I let it go. And oftentimes there are things that I simply just gave back. I think I have also been brought up with just letting things go, letting people go, letting everything go, and being, you know, becoming a master of just cutting cords, cutting things, and just leaving them, because that's the role model I have. I had when growing up, and I had been brought up with this skewed way of handling relationships and handling love and handling self-love and handling other people's everything from other people's emotions to their needs to every, you know. And I was a bit of a people pleaser, but a lot of the times an unwilling one. But it was like I understood in my mind that this is wrong, but I didn't know what it should look like. So now that I've rambled on about that for a while, so I have a date for you, and it was on the 17th of June in 2023. I held this big ritual of letting go. And it was really, really imperative for my well-being and for my path forward. It was like I was holding on to all of this stuff that wasn't mine, had never been mine, and I had hold on to these things, and I was like, why, what? And I had a big ceremony of just letting those things go. And one of those things was the cottage that I owned for a little while. And it was that cottage is one of the greatest examples of this. So with all of that cottage deal behind me, so if you want to know more about the cottage situation, there are some exclusive content on my Patreon, and you need to be a paid member on the lowest tier. It's the only tier for now, but on the lowest tier to be able to see that content. But we have the cottage situation behind me in the timeline now. And so for the summer of 2023, I was going through, you know, letting go of things, as I told you. And I realized that this cottage was never my dream. I had known that for quite some time. I had known it for at least a year. I'd known it inside of myself. It was close to the surface, you know. It wasn't buried very deep. But now that I had gone through what I had gone through with the cottage situation, I realized that this is one of the things that I'm holding for someone else. This is not me, mine, it never was. I need to let go of this. So, in the middle of, so before the summer solstice of 2023, I held this big ceremony of letting things go. So I did that. I let go of my dreams for the cottage. Everything that I dreamed of, everything that I planned, everything that I knew in my heart, in my bones, that it wasn't my path forward, because I could clearly now see the divide. I could see that it's basically between upholding this dream that was never mine and doing this, kind of trying to mold it into something that I could be satisfied with. And it's like, it was like the consolation prize, you know. I could go that path. It would be a hard path to walk, because I would have to prioritize money over health, money over my wants and needs. I would have to prioritize this. This was never my dream to begin with. So I looked at this and saw it. I wrote it down. I even sketched it out, and I was like, okay, so this is option number one. This is door number one, you know. And door number two is everything that I set an intention for with the spring equinox. Everything that I wanted to opt for my driver's license. I wanted to have top surgery. I wanted to do all of these things that I could see where they would lead for me. You know, they were fulfilling my needs and my wants and making my future mine. So that was door number 2. So I remember sitting there on the 17th of June and being like, close that door, let go, leave, bye, you know, and welcoming the other path. I didn't know what it would look like. I just knew that these intentions that I set, they don't fit. That's why this was all happening to me during this summer. I needed to make room for things to happen. I couldn't hold other people's dreams, needs, wants, and fulfill those for no one, or for them, or so. I couldn't do that and at the same time have room in my life for what I wanted and what I needed. So yeah, and that was the first of a few of these letting go ceremonies. So I had a lot of those during that summer. And the funny thing is that as soon as I had this ceremony, I had decided upon this. I had a conversation with my neighbor by the cottage, and he joked about. We had some jokes back and forth about who would buy it and that sort of thing, and it took like 3 days before he got back to me, and he was like, "My brother's interested," and I was like, "Tell me more." Yeah, within 3 weeks it was sold, because I set the intention for before the summer solstice. And then for the summer solstice I had I had a big ceremony of fulfilling some of the intentions that I set for the spring equinox. So I had focus on that, and I've written down here on my notepad that with the summer solstice that year, I could really feel the shift of focus. I had started to remove aspects that needed to be removed to make room for me, you know, which was a big step for someone that has never prioritized themselves. So with the summer solstice came a shift, and then after that is when I talked to my friend, and he was like, and we had those jokes back and forth, and then he came back to me and he was like, "My brother's interested." And from that point, when I told him about it, within 3 weeks it was sold. It was out of my hands, and me and my partner had to go up there. You know, suddenly I was like, "We need to go there, like pronto. We have to go there next week, because I need to take my stuff that I need, because my priority last time I was there wasn't on selling it." So I was like, "We need to go." So we went there and we cleared everything out. So during that summer I let go of that. When I was ready to let go of it spiritually and mentally, it was like the universe was just waiting with the right people to step up and be like, it was wonderful. So during that summer I had a lot of letting go processes and another letting go ceremony that I had was to let go of the view of what love looks like. I told you about this maybe earlier. What love looks like between family members and between, you know, in close relationships, and mainly family, you know, sibling, you know, relative relationships. And I let go of my preconceptions and what I have been taught. And growing up, I had one parent that had good relationships, steady relationships that was maintained through years and years, and then another person that could never maintain a relationship for very long, and I had thought before that I took the best of both worlds, but then I realized during the summer that there is nothing good with this side. This is not a healthy way to keep relationships. So I looked within and I realized exactly how I had internalized all of this growing up, and I saw clearly what I wanted going forward, how I wanted to maintain. I still struggle a little bit with that because it's hard to change, mainly when you don't have a template for what it should look like, a clear template for that. So I still do struggle with it. I'm still being held back by feeling like I impose on people when I reach out, and I now in my life, so 2025 Caspian Koala works a lot on communicating my needs in relationships and making them more mutual and not being me just adhering to everyone else's needs. So clearly communicating what I feel when I feel it, and what I need, and to meet in the middle, to compromise. And in that process I am fortunate to have actually let go of a lot of relationships in the past that wasn't mutual. So most of my relationships today are mutual, are very there's a lot of reciprocity in my relationships today. And when it comes to my family, my relatives, that's the hardest part, and that is what I'm still working on, finding kind of tools to do that. So a lot of the work that preempted me being able to actually step into relationships that had been kind of controlled by other people took place during this summer, with me just letting go of how everyone else does things, and finding, how do I want to do this? What do I want these relationships to look like? And how do I want to show up in these relationships? And how do I want them to show up with me? Not for me, not something that can be construed as me, because I don't want to demand things from people. I want to show up with love, from a place of love, from a place of genuinity and caring for the other person and for our relationship and the maintenance of that. And I want to be met on that same level. I want to be, to walk that path together with people. So, and that is something I couldn't phrase for myself. I couldn't find the word for myself before this summer of 2023. So I want to end with these 2 points. The first is that after that summer I realized I know what love is. I have love in my life. I have a lot of love in my life. I have friends and family and a partner that loves me and supports me. And I know how to support other people. I know how to love other people. That is not my issue, because fortunately I did have some very nice role models growing up. I had that as like a seed inside of me that I could cultivate. So that's what I've been doing, cultivating that seed from the day that I realized I know what love is. I know this and this and this and this and this is love. I know all of these things, So the other point I want to make is let go. Don't be afraid to let go. And if you're afraid to let go. Because the fear is we need to face our fears. That is really true. So I keep coming back to the medicine of the ice rune. Because that is where our fears are. So face your fears, let go of anything that you feel like you could not, should not, are afraid to let go of. So those are my 2 points I want to make. I had love inside of me all along. I know what love is. I know what it looks like and feels like. And in spite of how I was treated and programmed by some people in my life growing up. And if you are in a similar position where you have had a difficult upbringing or a kind of family dynamic that wasn't quite healthy, look for the good corn, the golden seeds in that we see in Sweden. Look for those seeds of whatever you are lacking, because I think they are there. Hopefully they are there, and if you can't find them in yourself, then find role models that will teach you what it looks like without projecting it all onto them. There is a danger in finding a role model and putting them on a pedestal and making them a kind of a guru on the topic of love or intimacy or empathy or whatever, and then feeling like you have to have that in your life when you can find that within yourself. Because if you can see that in other people, then you have it inside of you. So find that, let them mirror what you already have inside, and then go inside of yourself and cultivate that within yourself, and see the role models for what they are, role models. They are not God, they are not gurus, they are not all-knowing, just see them for what they are, and see the help that they can give you, and let them maybe shine a light so that you can find what's reflecting in you, so that you can grow from that and cultivate those seeds that you want to cultivate and need to cultivate to be able to move forward, because you have it in you. So let go of everything that you need to let go of. Most importantly, especially if you fear it, so that you can let go of things that doesn't serve you, so that you have a room to cultivate what you need, your wants, your needs, and the life that you want to build. So yeah, now I come to the part in this video that is what's coming next. What's coming next? So as I told you in the beginning of this video, after the summer of 2023 there was another period of integration, and this was a lot about me having made room for things so that other things could be cultivated. So I would say that the fall of 2023 for me was about cultivating things inside of me, growing as a person, and continuing my social transition and building upon what I had set before and that sort of thing. So the next time I see you, I'm gonna talk about 2024. So we're into the year of 2024, and there will be another video in between this one and that one that will be about the Norns, because we have now entered the fall, we have entered September, and in September we celebrate the Norns around the autumn equinox. So in my next video on this channel I'm going to talk about the Norns and the autumn equinox. I will see you then, and yeah, walk in beauty and let go when you need to. Shingling!